Good evening and welcome back to the Mayor's Update with our Mayor, Joe Preston. Joe, how are you doing this evening?
It's fantastic. It's Wednesday, and boy, it's like a full week already. There's been, you come back from Christmas and you think, oh, it might be a little rest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Every day's been really full, and I know your days have been the same way. So we've got lots to share because there's a lot going on.
Many things.
Let's start off with the trivia.
Mm-hmm. All right, trivia question. What is St. Thomas the patron saint of? That is our trivia question for this evening.
St. Thomas is the patron saint of something, right? And St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland.
Yeah.
What did St. Thomas do?
Yeah. And we've got it right here. We're waiting. So first person to enter that in, we'll add you on to the list for the draw, the prize draw.
Well, and we came on the air and went really quick to trivia. We may have to repeat this. There'll be people joining us now over the next couple of meetings or a couple of minutes, and they'll want to know. All right.
And Faye says hi. Hi, Faye. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Great to have you. Fantastic to be here. What else have we got going on? Well, we had our first winter Horton Market.
It was
last Saturday.
Amazing.
And I hear the crowds were incredible. I know I promised to be there, and I never came home from the cottage till Monday. So I did not get to Horton Market on Saturday. And so all of you that went out there to see me, no, I don't think that was high on.
No, they were asking. I was there, and they were like, "Where's the mayor? He said he would be here. He's not here." And I was like, "I don't know what's happened. I'm sure it's a family emergency, but he'll be here next week." Yeah,
that's clear. We'll try our best. But I understand a lot of people made it out to the winter market.
They did. It was packed. I was there early, and then went to Streamliners, had a coffee with Jess and the family, then went back and did the shopping once it had cooled down a little bit. So you didn't have to wait in line for everybody with Lily. And it was incredible. It was so awesome.
Councillor Gibson, Councillor McCauley were telling me what a great day it was. But you had to work your way through the line. Yeah. So perfect.
Even so, there were people who said they didn't know about it. So if you've got some friends, let them know about the Horton Market.
Well, first of all, let them know about Mayor's Update, because then they would have known about Mayor's Update. We got to get this in the right order, right? We're having some conversation about media in the community because the local newspaper, I can't remember the name of, has decided it will publish one less day. Well, and I guess my first thing was, well, who would notice? No offense, right? But we need to have outlets for local news, and we're letting established media and Mayor's Update play a large role in that, certainly on St. Thomas issues. So
on the municipal level.
Yes.
If you have a question, we'll find you the answer. If we don't have it already.
If there's some that go unanswered, we'll answer them the next time. So let's let's talk about things going on in St. Thomas. And so Horton Market was the best thing. You and I were both at a luncheon yesterday with the St. Thomas and Elgin home builders.
We were, and it was amazing. We're gonna jump right back there. I'm just gonna say Sharon Montgomery Anderson has answered the trivia question correctly, which is judges and architects. St. Thomas is a patron saint of judges and architects.
I would have thought it was doubting people.
Asking questions?
Well, doubting Thomas and
right.
Okay. But judges and architects, I'll take. Way to go. So we have our trivia winner already early tonight. Right?
That's fantastic. And congrats. She's one of the top answers. So I'm going to add her into the draw here. But in the meantime, we're going to hop back to what you were just mentioning, which is the home builders.
Well, the home builders general meeting happened to fall this week, and they thought we'd have a quick discussion about the elements of Bill C-23 and getting homes built. But I got the feeling from our home builders yesterday that they had no issue with C-23 and what it was doing. Some municipalities in the area seem to. I continue to say, can I get about 6 months of it being in place, and then we'll really be able to tell. There's a lot of people that analyze some of this legislation and just take it to the degree. So let's just wait and see. I think we feel pretty comfortable about things. The development charges will be fine. Most of us will be able to do what we currently do, and it will attract a higher level of affordable and supportive housing.
Right, because in terms of the development charges, that's their main concern, is that the developers won't be putting as much money into the development charges, which for smaller municipalities might be more crucial to paying for roads and sewers in less densely populated areas.
Right. But we always say growth pays for growth. So if the developers this year are putting into the development charge fund, then that's the money for next year. And next year, what I think the provincial government, and I've certainly heard it about Toronto and the larger cities, and I don't want to only blame them for this, but the billions in their development charges fund and saying, why can't we charge more? Right. Yeah. And they're using it for some things that might not be for growth in their community. And so the province is asking them not to do that. I'm not trying to take one side or the other on this, but there's a way for us to just watch and see. Let's take a look at auditing who's got how much in their development charges funds, who has great developers who are willing to participate in the growth of the communities they're in, and let's see if we run into a downside. Right now, there's no development charges on some affordable housing projects. Okay. Well, that was the issue. We want to get those built. So
so they're talking about reducing the taxes.
Lower the cost on the builders to build, and they might have some more affordability in their projects. Also, we got to make sure, look, we're the kind of judge and jury on this, municipalities and councils, and we need to make sure that we're getting what that's supposed to get us from an affordability or a supportive housing point of view. So it was a great group of builders and trades and everything in the room yesterday. And some of our friends from Southwold and from Central Elgin were there also, listening to builders and talking about how can we move forward. Exciting piece of the home builders thing, home show.
Yeah.
Coming up in March. And they're really looking for vendors right now for in the home show. So if you're a vendor who has not yet heard about a home show coming up in March at the Joe Thornton Center, please get a hold of the Home Builders Association either on one of the social medias or on their website, and they talk to Angela.
Thousands of people out there looking at all of the different booths and trying to figure out what do they want to put in their homes.
Right. I'm building a new home up north, and so I'm trying, okay, what will the showers be? What will the counters be? Those size things. So it's a great thing to do. What else did we do? We did the Downtown Development Board kind of readying meeting today. The annual general meeting is next Wednesday morning. Grayden, you were elected vice president of the Downtown Development Board.
Yeah, I got a shock nomination, but I looked over at Jess and she didn't throttle me when I said okay.
Well, I think there's a little less to being the vice president behind a great chair like
I think
Earl than there is being the chair of one of the committees that actually have a lot of work to do. And I, of course,
that's what right. So I'm no longer on the beautification committee. I'm no longer the chair of the beautification committee. That's actually I'm pretty happy about that. That was a lot of work.
In a sweet spot today, right? Yeah. So one of the things we talked about today was, of course, putting the executive together for it, and a number of new business people out today joining the DDB today. Excited. So after next week's annual general meeting, we will talk about a whole list of what's happened there. One of the most significant things that's happened over the last couple of weeks, though, is the downtown trash pickup piece. We're trying to battle litter, as almost all communities are, and most businesses do a great job of cleaning up in front of their own, but we decided, what if we picked up garbage in the afternoon on the main street? Instead of people putting out their trash bags downtown overnight for it to be picked up in the morning, and a lot of them break open and are scattered, and there's some litter issues. What about we ask you, please don't put it out till the morning. Please don't put it out till you get to your store that day, and put it out, and we'll send the garbage truck down the street around noon of each of the trash days, and we think we'll keep a neater downtown. So that's test for the next 6 months, and already starting off well. So really like that piece too.
I think it's a fantastic plan. You were saying even the city and the crew that you're working with, they're going around some other times just randomly checking for things to make sure that
Yeah, we've always gone and looked for litter problems in the downtown, or broken trash bags, or trash bags are out when they're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we do that in a lot of places in the city too. And that won't stop. We'll continue to be cognizant of what's happening in the downtown, but we're just trying to make it so that, look, you're not putting out your trash late Monday night for a Tuesday pickup, or at 5 o'clock when you leave your business on Monday night for a Tuesday morning pickup. You can now get to your store on the Tuesday morning and put it out, and it'll be picked up pretty soon after it's gone out. So we think that's a way better thing for our downtown.
We should also mention the Christmas trees, because there were a lot of people that put their Christmas trees out on the curb, and there's a different situation going on.
They weren't watching Mayor's Update.
They were not.
All right. We have never, for the I don't think any of my time as the mayor, collected Christmas trees. We've always used we have our own recycling center. Please take them there.
South Edgeware?
On South Edgeware. We have our own green bins, and if you could just lop the branches off your Christmas tree and put it in your green bin, and it may take you 2 times, right? But in the winter, you're not putting together near as much yard waste in your green bin, and that goes out, right? The theory always is, if you got a Christmas tree to your house, you can get a Christmas tree away from your house, and we continue to say it that way. Not everybody has a real Christmas tree. Many have artificial Christmas trees, or don't have one at all.
Jess and I got one at Brywood. It was one of the mini trees that we can plant.
Oh no, and that's even better. Put it in the back of the Jeep, and you remember what year that Christmas tree, that little pine thing went out in your yard, right? So yes, perfect. Anyway, so people aren't getting the message, but because there's a few out by the curb, and I know of some neighbors who went and told their friends, look, just put it in the backyard for a week or two, knock the branches off when it starts to get a little crispier, and put it in the green bin.
Or let it be an animal shelter.
Lots of great things you can do with
some people want to go to goat farms.
Okay. Well, and there are many farmers that would take your Christmas tree. Excuse me, if you ask them.
But make sure you ask them. Don't just go out there and dump it on their property.
Right. That's
they don't take well to that.
Right. No, well, and you shouldn't do that with your refuse. We have a recycling area that just will take care of all of it.
Here, we'll take it for free. No.
I don't want to do it for free. I want to inconvenience someone else.
Yeah.
Right. And then I want to complain because nobody came and picked it up.
That's right.
Anyway, we're sounding a bit bitter today.
No, it's the new year. It's the new year.
Yeah.
So no, the DDB meeting was amazing. And you've been on the DDB meeting with me for the past 4 years, and or the committee. And it's been a smaller committee, so we've all had to do a lot of work.
Right.
All of a sudden, we have a whole bunch of new people that are part. So it's really exciting because we've all lifted probably more than I would say our fair share generally over the past 4 years. So I'm pretty excited to share this load with these other businesses.
No, and I think it's more exciting for downtown to have more hands doing the work also, especially on events like Nostalgia Nights and some of the things that have happened downtown over the last 4 years. The growth of festivals, or Pumpkin Prowl, which is as busy as it could have been this year. The Santa, the downtown dollars for Christmas. I mean, there's so many great things.
So many things.
Yeah. So glad to see more people out. And the annual general meeting is next week, and I hear there's even more people at it. Maybe we'll pick up some more people for the board. We can hold 16 people on the board of the Downtown Development Board. So if you're a downtown business owner or building owner and still want to be there, and look, if you're a building owner or a business owner and don't want to be, but somebody else wants from your business wants to be on the board, let them do the job. Right? It's great to have it that way, and I think we'll have more hands making lighter work this year if today was any sort of way of looking at it. Right?
It's pretty exciting. All right. You have some pretty amazing news in terms of the budget in the city of St. Thomas. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is taxes go up based on inflation every year. Now, the question is, how much are they going up?
Well, this year, 2.37%, exactly the same number as last year, because our original budget that came back from staff was just a little bit higher than that. And we suggested, well, can't we just match last year then? Why we can do it. And we found the ways to do it. Some of it's growth in our community to help do it. And so we did. So 2.37%. I'm anxious to continue to watch other companies. Well, I can't get this right. Municipalities around us, as they get through their budgets.
That'd be interesting.
Well, inflation last year ran at a little better than 5%. The fact that we can bring you a tax rate that's half of that as the tax increase for this year, I think that tells us what growth can do for St. Thomas. As St. Thomas grows, we collect more taxes from some of the new businesses, from some of the new homes, and that will happen. Next year, if it's a softer year, we will watch for what it takes to grow the following year. But I think we can be fiscally responsible and still deliver some pretty good things in St. Thomas. So that's out. It's done. We've already put out on the street the requests for proposals for 2 or 3 large construction projects, including the large one on Talbot Street, which can be anywhere up to $10 million to rebuild from Mary Street through to Flora. So we've got a lot of good projects going on, a lot of great new street work and sidewalk work this year across the municipality, but a very big project happening to make downtown look even better too when we're done. So,
and you won't have sinkholes opening up in the middle of Talbot and swallowing cars.
Well, we've not had that happen, and we thank for that. But the oldest pipes in our community seem to be the ones under Talbot Street. It's a tough place to come do construction, so we put it off through COVID. Then we put it off one more year to give the businesses a year back. But you're right. I can't say we're. Look, we'll show you some pictures of these pipes once we dig up the street. These old cast iron pipes and how old they are. And our biggest worry is, of course, we have maps where all these pipes are, but that we'll find others. I know that Councillor Peters is excited because he just loves whenever we take pavement on it. Oh, look, there's streetcar tracks. Oh, look, and it's fun.
People always throw things down.
In construction projects. They used to. Yeah.
And so, you're going to get artifacts from hundreds of years ago.
Well,
hundreds. Okay. Maybe
at least 100. At least 100. Right.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that large project and what we're going to be able to do with it also. So thank you for giving this council the support to come back, but with the fiscal responsibility to do it right at the right prices.
Right.
We know we have job one in this community is to continue to work on housing, specifically housing for the homeless, the build to zero projects we're on, and we won't stop doing that. We didn't underfund ourselves. We can move forward and do the right things in St. Thomas. So we will.
And we have a great guest coming on February 8th.
Okay.
It's Lindsay Grondin-Rice from the YWCA.
Right.
And she's going to talk about the Tiny Hope Project, which is the one that's happening over
great, because we're going to need some help.
Yeah.
Right. The city's going to help with it as much as we can. But as I shared last week, other nights and yesterday, we need developers to come forward with projects like this too. The city cannot build all of the housing in our community on its own. We need others who do that for a living to do a better job of it. So having Lindsay on YWCA is just a godsend to our community and what they're able to do on certainly sheltering women and youth. And we have a full shelter of the rest, but between what Lindsay does, what Kyle Rolfe does over at the YFC, the Youth for Christ piece on youth, they're just special. And so I'm anxious to have Lindsay on. Lindsay and I go back so many years.
They can raise some more funds for the project. So before she comes on, take a look at it and see if you can donate a little money to help build that project.
And there'll be some opportunities for volunteer work and the like. And we need to do this. And somebody said, well, that's just like the first tiny homes. And I went, we've had tiny homes in our community for almost 50 years.
Yeah.
If you take Kiewant Manor along First Ave into play, that's a seniors set of residents of little duplexes, but those were, we would today consider them tiny homes. And so
back then they were like a full-fledged
home. It was a great one bedroom, kitchen, living room kind of living space. And we need as many of those as we can possibly have too. So let's all work together to make sure we can head that way. Okay?
And as you all know, this is an open forum for our community. So if you have any questions right now while we're live, let us know.
And I do keep reminding people on other social media sites across the town that, I'm not going to answer it 5 times on St. Thomas Happenings or one of the other media sites. Come on, Mayor's Update on Wednesday at 6:30 here on Established Media and come and ask the questions there and we'll answer it. And of course, get it geez, how many viewers did we have to our last show? Over 2,000.
Yeah.
So
2,500. Yep. So
I'd rather talk to 2,000 at once than answer the same question 2,000 times. I guess that's, maybe rude of me, but I would like to.
And we get more when there's guests. For some reason, we're not as enticing as
Well, take a look.
So the 2,500. That was back when we did the inn. When we
with Brian and the chair of the board from the inn, and it's great information. And so they kind of look. We've been doing this 4 years, right? And in some of that time more than once a week. So they are getting, hey, I know who those two guys are, but who's the new people with them?
Right? So we need you to ask questions to keep us interesting.
Right.
This is what we're saying here.
Right. I'd like to be more interesting.
Me as well. I'm just not. I'm an artist. I don't talk that much. So I stumble over my words. I'd rather be painting, but at the same time, this is important for our community. It's important to stay connected, and it's important to have transparency in municipal government, and that's what we're doing here every week.
Well, I did just mention Kyle Rolfe and the Youth Unlimited, or the Youth for Christ, that does some of the youth homelessness sheltering, and their event is coming up in February, the coldest night of the year. And it is both, it's kind of a fundraiser, kind of a participatory thing. You get to go do a walk. If you're still a bit fearful about doing something in a crowd, you can pick the time and day you want to do your walk, and you can go and get sponsors for what you're doing on the walk, or you can just help by sponsoring the event.
That's amazing. And also, you're speaking of walking, Yurks is having a walk.
Oh, good.
They walk at the Joe Thornton Center. So if you go to their Facebook page, you can see the information on and walk. Just go for a walk and talk. And you know what? Knowing your pharmacist is not a bad thing.
Well, I said that to Jeff this morning. Jeff came to the DDB meeting.
It's awesome,
right? It's great to see Jeff out and about. And Reza from York usually sits on the board, but Jeff thought he'd come in and fill in today. And I, at some point in the meeting, said I should join you Thursday for the walk at the Thornton Center, and he nodded wisely that I should. Yes. It's not the walk; it's going up the stairs to get to the. We have too much fun. And the problem with Jeff and I, whenever we get together, of course, we've known each other for so long, we just talk. Well, there's a bunch of people who came out to walk with Jeff so that they could talk to him too. So I'll have to find some private time to get all my conversations in.
Yeah. So how's healthcare looking in St. Thomas right now? We've been hearing a lot of stuff in the news about beds that are being full, especially around children. And
I think from my understanding, we got through Christmas in a smoother way than we thought we would. Now, look, that's not saying there isn't childhood flu and some respiratory things happening on top of what remnants of COVID there still is. But I've not heard any shout outs from the hospital or anything right now that it's bad. Now, that's not to say they're not still doing the God's work that they do over there and working really, really hard. But we'll check into that this week and see if there's been a up or down flow from our own hospital. The other thing you and I have to think about, and the hospital will need to do it too. We built a fantastic hospital when we redid the hospital and did the great build. 5 or 6 years ago now, I guess. And the city contributed. A lot of people contributed, but our city continues to grow, and so does the neighboring communities of Central Algon and Southwold and the rest. We'll need to start looking at how soon might we need to do something more significant to our hospital too. It's not necessarily a municipality's thing to lead, but I'll tell you what, we don't have a great city if we don't have a great hospital like St.Thomas Ontario General Hospital.
Yeah. We should also mention again, local immigration partnership. They've got a survey about discrimination going on.
Yes.
So if you go to their website, you can find out about that. We mentioned it several times before, but we'll just throw that back in there.
If it's a survey for those that have felt racialized or discriminated against. And so take a look on the local immigration partners website. Again, a great YWCA agency. So let's and see if you can help them. If it fits, We need the surveys so that we can address problems going forward or address issues going forward.
And hello, Margaret. Sorry, we were just chatting through there, but yes, we can see you're online. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah. Margaret's almost always the first one here. Now, the last 2 weeks, she's just been a little tardy. I don't know. Should we mention that? No.
We shouldn't.
She's such a good fan of ours.
Publicly.
No, please. No. We won't say anything about how great, except for how great Margaret is as a fan of Mayor's Update and spreading the word on Mayor's Update too.
She's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. And what about the police services? Any more news on what's happening in the downtown core? How's that been going since they opened the new
certainly
office?
The special constables and the opening of the office for the special constables has made an incredible difference in relationship, if nothing else, but also made a feeling of safety in our downtown. Now, does the special constable force need to get larger? Yes. And we knew we would launch with 4 and try to work from there. And next year, and now with new Chief Roskam, he and I are having some conversations, but they've had a pretty busy week this week too. I mean, we had a shooting in town, and I know they're doing their best on that one too. And I love the amount of communication that came out from the police chief on what's happened, what they're doing. And then today there was another piece on in the south of the city, basically just capturing a pretty bad guy. Somebody who's had about 100 charges this year, and they knew where he was, so they went and safely told him he's going to live somewhere else for a little while. Yeah, this place has some nice windows. They're got bars on them, so we're going to do that, right? We will carry on. Continuing to make St. Thomas as safe as it possibly can be. In another week or two, I'm down in Toronto at Roma, the rural Ontario municipalities, and I'm seeing a few ministers there, and one of them is the Solicitor General, to talk about the kind of catch and release court system problem we have. That with people committing many crimes here in St. Thomas that are released again, time after time after time, or given a court date, don't show for the court date. We arrest them again, and they're told, okay, come to the next one. Right. Look, I know from being a parent, you can only do that so often before the person says, well, there's no penalty for this. Why am I bothering? So we want to talk a little bit about how we can, those that want to project themselves as career criminals in St. Thomas need to be treated as such. And those that need our sympathy and our help will be treated as such also. But we need a better way of separating that two out. So we're going to spend some time talking about that too.
Very good. Yeah, that's Ontario's coming to that point right now, it sounds like. And we're also nearing the end of our show. We have about 2 minutes left.
Okay, great.
On our timeline here. So any last words?
Well, it's just been an incredible spring. We've got so much done in the December and January of this new council, right? And almost no snowplow complaints, even though over Christmas where it was really quite seriously bad. Yeah.
London they instituted the names. Remember we were talking last year about the Scottish snowplow names and how they're all named?
Yes.
So London has apparently started naming their snowplows. So I'm thinking maybe next year.
It's really easy to name them when they're all sitting in the lot. Ours are going by so fast, it's a little hard to paint the names on. So. Is that a little dig for Mayor Morgan? Yeah, I'm at his inaugural speech next week too. Right, so hopefully he's watching Mayor's Update. So he'll correct me on the naming of snowplows. Yes.
Very good, very good. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again to all of our viewers here. And
if I have one more minute, one other thing I had this week was a meeting with another company that does direct rapid transit, and to get their feedback on our system and how we might do it better. And we've shared information with each other. So just to let you know, we're moving forward as fast as we can on continuously improving our transit system within the budget that we're forced to kind of live with the ridership we currently have. So we'll continue to move that forward too.
Very good. Well, that's all the time we have, folks, tonight. So have a great night. Mayor Joe, thanks again.
Miss you already.
Cheers, everybody.